So, welcome again to Building Safer, More Accountable Workplaces. I'm Dante King, and you know, through this presentation, I'll be introducing and walking you through a coaching suite that I've built. I'll also show you how you may be able to have your employer support you in terms of paying for it, and we will have a meaningful dialogue towards the end. So this is set up to be a very relaxed and useful experience. So buckle up, get comfortable. Um, so here's the plan. First, a quick word about who I am and why I do this work. Then, why this work matters, especially right now. I'll walk you through the coaching suite. Then the part that I really don't want you to miss is again, not how you might have to pay for this out of pocket, but how you could be supported by your employer in doing so. So we'll have about maybe, again, probably 7 or 8 minutes for questions, and then I'll close with some simple next steps. If a question comes up along the way, hold on to it, and I promise you we will get to it. So a little bit about who I am. So let me start by saying why I do this work. It is very purposed, conviction-oriented, meaningful work for me. For most of my career, I've been the person institutions trusted with their people. I served as a vice president at Wells Fargo Bank in the capacity of a branch manager, district manager, regional manager. I also worked in human resources while at Wells Fargo Bank. Um, I also served as the director of workforce learning and development at JP Morgan Chase, as a human resources manager for the city and county of San Francisco, as director of racial equity at the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency, and at the Department of Public Health as Deputy Director of the Office of Health Equity and the Director of Workforce Equity Strategies and Programs at the same time. But I've also done in the weeds work, which many people have learned about, especially recently, advocating for employees. I co-founded and led the Black Employees Alliance, standing beside people experiencing unfair and inequitable treatment. So I've seen these issues from the leader's chair and from the employee side. I'm also an expert legal witness, a continuing legal education provider with the California State Bar. I was previously on the faculty at the Mayo Clinic Medical School of Science, and I've coached more than 500 executives. So again, I've seen how these problems start and how they end in a complaint, an investigation, or a courtroom. Um, so again, why we're here. So here's the truth about workplace discrimination and harassment. It rarely starts with a dramatic act. It usually starts small, a pattern that gets missed, a complaint that gets mishandled, discipline applied unevenly, one standard for some people, another for others. And I'll ask you just to think about how many times you've either uh, experienced and or witnessed situations where you know that there was not fair treatment, that there was uneven treatment. And I used to say this a lot when I did leadership development courses, that, people who believe that things are fair, that people are fair, are typically the beneficiaries of that fairness. But the other people who are not the beneficiaries of that fairness don't necessarily feel the same. So left unaddressed, those small moments become crises for the people who are harmed and for the organization that has to answer for them. And the hard part is that by the time it's a lawsuit or a headline, the moment to prevent it has passed a long time ago. The good news, almost all of it is preventable if leaders and employees have the skills and the language to catch it early. That's exactly what this coaching suite is built to do, because it's not just coaching, but it's also strategy consulting. is what I do. And that's where my areas of expertise really lie. How to solve problems, what mechanisms are available to try and assist or address certain issues that may come up, and really the art form of how to address these issues as they may surface. Um, so I built a full coaching suite, 5 offerings that form a ladder from a single conversation all the way up to transforming an entire organization. On the individual side, there's employee coaching and leadership coaching. And for deeper work, there's executive coaching, team coaching, and organizational coaching, and consulting. Wherever you or your organization are right now, there's an entry point that fits. So let me walk you through them. So on the individual coaching side, which is session based, it really focuses on an employee coaching model and consulting model that is confidential. One-on-one support to help employees understand their rights, recognize harm, and respond safely. A single 60-minute session is $250. A 3-session package is $700, and a 6-session package is roughly $1,350. Leadership coaching is for managers and executives who want to prevent harm, handle complaints well, and reduce legal and reputational risk. A single session is $450. A 3-session package is $1,275, and 6 sessions is roughly $2,400. The packages are where the real change happens. And as I'll show you in a moment, they're often eligible for your employer's professional development funds. So executive team and organizational coaching. For deeper customized work, there are 3 more. Executive coaching starts at roughly $3,500 a month. An ongoing engagement that combines executive coaching, strategic advising, leadership consultation, and priority access to me. Team coaching starts at roughly $2,500 a month, scoped to your team size, goals, timeline, and whether we work virtually or in person. And organizational coaching is a custom proposal, the full scope work. Executive team coaching, organizational strategy, culture transformation, leadership development, and equity implementation. So if you're not sure which one fits, that's exactly what a conversation is for. So when we go to talking about funding, this is the part that I promised and I don't want you to miss. A lot of people assume that they'd have to pay for this out of their own pocket. Very often you don't. Many employers offer annual tuition reimbursement or professional development funds, and coaching and professional development frequently qualify. In fact, under a provision of the tax code called Section 127, your employer can provide up to $5,250 a year tax-free toward this kind of development. And that limit is confirmed for both 2025 and 2026. Now, every employer's plan is different, so you'll want to confirm what qualifies with your human resources or benefits team. I'm giving you general information here, not tax advice. But for a lot of you, this could be partly or even fully covered. It's really worth checking before you assume it's out of reach. I know that when I worked previously for some institutions, I would use this for purchasing equipment, especially when I was in leadership, or I would use it for my school tuition. But once I graduated from my undergraduate program, my graduate work, I would use it to go to trainings or for a professional coach, a career coach. So those are some examples of how those benefits can be leveraged. So here's how to access in quick steps, 5 quick steps. So 1, check your benefits or HR portal for tuition reimbursement or professional development. 2, confirm what qualifies and whether you need pre-approval. 3, if you need pre-approval, get it in writing. 4, request an itemized invoice from me or someone on my team, and I'll also give you a short description of services for your approval form. And it's also listed on my website at danteking.com. And there's another website that will be launching for my consultancy, which is King of Kings Consulting LLC. That will be launching within about a week or so, maybe even a few days. But there are descriptions or will be descriptions that you can locate there. Number 5, submit for reimbursement and keep your receipts. I really try to make my side of this as easy as possible because I'd rather your employees' dollars do the work. So um, let's talk. That's the tour. And so now I'd really like to genuinely hear from you. So I'm going to offer just a few questions to get us started before you just jump in, but I'd also love for you to jump in as well. So one, I want you to think about what's one workplace situation you wish had been handled differently. And then 2, what does your team feel most, where does your team feel most at risk? Hiring, discipline, complaints, or the culture overall? 3, what would a safe and accountable workplace look like for you or your team members? And then which offering in the suite meets a need you have right now? So those are questions to consider. So I'm going to stop sharing and just invite you all in to speak at your leisure. Who has responses to those questions? You can feel free to write them in the chat um, as well. You can write your answers in the chat. And you can also feel free to speak outwardly. Anyone? No worries, Mimi. I'm also doing it again tomorrow, I believe around the same time, and also again on the 26th. And this has been recorded too, so it will be just the presentation part, not your questions or responses. But it will be posted on my LinkedIn page as well. Okay, so if there are no questions, I'm gonna go back to these slides and um, close us out. So let me just see. So before we close, here's how to take the next step. You can explore the full suite with details and pricing at danteking.com/services. You can also, again, within a few days' time, go to kingofkingsconsulting.com and you will find information there. You can book a session there at either website or simply reply to the email that brought you here, or you can go to the contact page on danteking.com currently um, and submit your request there for more information. And if today wasn't the right moment, but you know someone this could help, please pass it along. I thank you profusely for your time and for your trust. This is the work that I've done at every level of my career, and I'd be honored to do it with you. The work continues. So that's kind of it for on my end.